Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how to use the pen tool within Photoshop. Now, this is the best way to cut out subjects, objects using Photoshop. You do have other tools that you can use, like the quick selection tool. You've even got the newer frame tool there, which you can use to select things, but the pen tool is still the best. Now, if you come onto it, you can see that there's a few different things you can use here, but we're just going to be using the normal pen tool. Now, when it comes to using this pen tool, it takes a little while to get used to. I've got Mr. Pigeon here, who I'm going to cut out, and I'm going to show you the techniques that I use to be able to get a really, really good, precise cutout. So we want to be working quite close so we can see all the angles and all the areas in which we want to cut out and select. So what we need to do is make a selection, okay, click and then drag, and you can see we get this little these two little bars come up here, and that enables us to then create this curve. So if we click there, what we can do is come back up to this section here, and we can adjust these bars later. Okay, so I'm just pressing Control Z just to go back. And when we're making these selections, we need to try and get them obviously as smooth as possible, but we want to try and do selections in quite a big area. Now we can just click. So if I just click here, I can then just pull down to around here and click, and that's fine. And what we want to be doing is trying to sort of cut inside the subject, so we're not getting the background. You want to try and cut a little bit inside. So let's come to this point here. So I've clicked. I'm going to click here, okay, and then I'm going to drag. So I'm just holding the mouse button and I'm dragging up. Now I can come back to this and change that. If I hold the Control key down, I can then move this as well, so I can get really, really precise areas, and I can move that as well. Okay, now you can see that what's happened here. Now we're starting from this point. It's sort of higher than what we want it to be, and if we want to select something, we're going to jump. So if you hold down the Alt key and click, then that starts a new path. Okay, so that enables me to carry on. So I'm going to click around here. So all I'm doing is just single clicks now, random feathers. I'm going to miss that section out, so I'm going to sort of go down to there, using the space bar just to move. So then I'm going to come down to here, click and drag. So I'm just dragging down. Okay, press the Alt key back here, so we start a new selection. So we're basically changing direction. That's what we're telling the pen tool, is that we're going to be changing direction. So here, click, drag, and then Alt key, change direction. Click, drag, holding the Control key, and I can move that around. So if you make a mistake like that, all you need to do is press Control Z and it will go back. Okay, so it's quite simple. So obviously you can take your time and get a much better selection than what I am, but like, see, from here to here, there's quite a big leap. What I don't want to do is small steps. I actually want to go to the very edge. I want to try and do as less selections as possible. So there we go. Okay, Alt key, just to say we're changing angle or direction, click, then to here, click, drag, and there we can get back the selection there. And if we hold the Control key down, this part, we can just move that in a little bit if we wanted to. Okay, so these parts here. So I'm going, like I said, I'm going inside because I want to make sure that none of the background's selected for obvious reasons. So here, click, drag, Alt key, because we're changing angle. And like I said, this does take a little while to get used to, but when you get the hang of it, you'll be able to use it quite confidently. So click and drag, because there's a different angle there. Let's get the rest of that toe in. Click and drag. Okay, so I'm going to come down to here, click, and just drag that in a little bit. Alt key, because we're changing direction. We're going to the left now. And it'd probably be better if I was zoomed in a little bit more, so I can be a little bit more precise. So if you want it to be really precise with this, for instance, this little bump, click, drag. Okay, that's all you need to remember is click and drag. And then you can use the control key to move the actual selection, and you press the alt key to change direction. So here, click, drag, perfect. Okay, now obviously we don't want to start from that point, so we can click on the alt key, click, and then make the next selection. So I'm going to click here. Okay, hold down the control key and just bring that in a bit. And if I want to add a point, I can just click. And then what that enables me to do is press the control key and push it back up. Then you can see there, looks like I can just push all that back in now. Okay, so you can make pretty much any shape you want. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. I'm not going to go for the perfect selection. It's just really to show you guys how to use it. So like here, click and drag so we get the good point, and then alt key. And let's go for the outside toe here. Click and drag, alt key. I'm just clicking it here, click and drag. There we go. Here, click and drag. So let's go with something like that. I'm going to come here to click the alt key so I can start from a new point. Here, I'm going to miss out some of these bits just because I don't want to spend too much time doing this. So up to here, click and drag. Up to here, click, and then all I'm doing is just dragging, just changing the angle ever so slightly. It's about there. So you can see here that I need to add a new point, so I can just click. And then what I can do is hold the control key down, the alt key down, and I can then, the control key, and I can move it. So I can move the whole selection here that you can see there. Okay, so here I can do the same. So I'm just holding the control key down. Here, control, that's it. And then hit the alt key, because you can see that we don't want that. So click up to here and drag, and let's add a new point here. So you can see that the little plus minus, the plus logo sort of comes. That means you can add a point. You can take it away as well. If you click on it, look there, it's got a minus. So I can pretty much do whatever I want with this. Click and drag, and then just get the angle. Okay, let's go around the beak. So let's to here, click, and let's just get this angle right. About there, and up to here. Get that angle. I'm going to press the alt key just to make a new start. To here, click, and drag just to get that angle right. And like I said, we can come back to here and we can move this. Okay, and then I'm going to click and drag. So I get that. I'm going to add a point here actually. No, I'm not. I'm going to go back a step. There we go. If you don't get the plus, it won't do it. And then just move this. So I'm just going to go back a couple of steps. Click. And then there we go. So I'm just holding the alt key down just to be able to move this selection. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that actually and focus more on this here. this angle there, and then this angle here. So I would say it's more, that's it, there we go, around there. Okay, now, so we've done that. Obviously you can take your time. It is a slow process, as you can see, but it gives you the best selection possible. Now, if you come up to here, you'll see that it says paths here. If you can't see that, just go to Windows and go to paths. And if you see there that we've got a working path. So what Photoshop does, it saves this working path. So it's different to a snapshot or a layer. It's its own thing. And we can see, you know, the whole outline of what we've done. So what we need to do now is right click, okay, and we can hit make selection. And what's going to happen is this little dial is going to come up here, and you can feather the radius. Now, it's always a good idea. The general rule is to feather it by 0.5 because it just stops any harsh direct lines. So press OK, and there we've got our selection, which is pretty much the same as what you get when you use a quick selection tool. Is things like this look here. So you know, I've made a mistake there, so I can click on the working path, okay, and go back to that if I want to. And there you go, you can see the lines have now reappeared. So I can come back here, I could take that off and just change this angle again. So the actual bars there, just working out where the bars are. There we go. So like I said, this can take a little while to get it right, and it's just being really, really patient with it. And it's just working out where exactly these angles need to be. So that angle there is slightly off. So we could just bring that in. Bring that in. So I'm just using the control key to do that. Okay, just because I want to get a better selection around the head. And what I'm going to do is add another point and then just bring it up. Probably add another point there. So I've maybe been a little bit too adventurous with just doing, you know, 2 selections there. Okay. So now we've done that, so we've got the path there, and we can name that whatever we want to. We could name that bird, and we've got that selection. So let's just make a selection again. Press OK, because that's going to add the new selection there. And I've actually messed up a little bit there, but I'm not too worried. So click on the layers, and then come down here, click on the layer mask, and there you go. There's your cutout. So now you've done that, you've got a perfect cutout. So you can then use the move tool, and we could move this wherever we want to. We could drag this onto another picture. We can do pretty much whatever we want. And you know, if you look, I mean, yeah, I've missed out some bits, but can you see there? Look, that's a really good curve. That's a really good cutout. I missed a little bit there. If you want to, we can use the brush tool to just paint in areas on the layer mask here. So if I push this up, we can then end up painting in and out whatever we want on there. But we need to, because that's a selection there, we need to do it as there. Okay. There, and we can add things in. We can go back to the path. There we go, because it's now vector. And we can paint in and out whatever we want. You can see there the background starting to come through. Okay, so you can refine it like that if you want to. I'm not too bothered because I just want to show you guys how to use this pen tool rather than actually refining it. But you can go back to your paths, like I said here, and you can see because I've moved the pigeon, you can see where the path was. Okay, so let's just go back where I'm not going to actually move it, just to show you there where that path is. It gives you a really nice clean line and outline. And you know, when we're cutting things out, we're trying to get the best shapes possible. So, you know, I mean, like this here, this is quite harsh. You can see there's some harsh lines there. That's why going inside and really taking your time, for instance, down here, let me just get rid of that path. You can see there that that's quite blocky. So, you know, you'd spend a little bit more time just messing around with that. Now, if we just go to layer, flatten image, that's then going to give you an image on a white background if you wanted to, but I like to keep mine as they are, like this, because I've just go to File, Save As, and I'd save this as a TIFF. You can save it as a Photoshop PSD file because that's what it wants to do, but you can also save it as a TIFF. If you save it as a TIFF, you need to make sure that the layers is selected there. Okay, it really doesn't matter which file you save it as long as it's not a JPEG, because you'll be compressing the hell out of it. But that's how you use it. That's how you use that pen tool. And like I said, this now enables you to use this in other pictures if you want to, and that's what we're going to be building up to, doing this properly, so we can do composite images where we can add and basically build a digital image from a series of different things. Okay, so I'm going to go into more detail with the pen tool in other videos, show you how to really, you know, refine them edges. So if you do you know, in the layer mask and stuff, I'll be showing you how to do that. I just want to get you to get onto the pen tool. Remember that, you know, using the control tool, click and drag, and you can use the alt tool to make a new angle, new selection point. Okay, so I hope that's helped. Please give this a go, because it's going to help you long term. A lot of people don't ever attempt to use the pen tool because it is very difficult when you're first starting. It goes all over the place. But start with a simple image, something like this. Keep practicing and you will get there. And then once you can do these cutouts, you'll get much better results on all your images. Okay.